Thank you for joining this live session for our mastering Node.js and MongoDB. As we previously saw exactly how we can deal with API, the way we can create here, I had a sample of actually the simple data I have been trying to access. And now today's live session, we are going to be viewing exactly how we can integrate our MongoDB in our database, and also how we can exactly deal with the data, the access, and also the creation of model, the controllers that we can use when we are actually dealing with the data. So first of all, we need to go to our, let me just go to the MongoDB, and in MongoDB I must make sure that I have created my cluster, and this cluster exactly will be the one that I'll be using. So let me go to get started, and I need to sign up. From here we just use Google because I want to make sure that everything is very fast, because actually MongoDB Atlas, most of the time they provide a free cluster, and this free cluster will be the one that we'll be dealing with. And on this part we will see how to get the connection string that we'll be using in our local DB, and also how we can connect exactly it by first installing our dependencies, and also here I have to accept, and also after inserting dependencies we have to connect them. So we'll go step by step. Here they give me welcome to MongoDB Atlas, the modern database. So this is okay. What is your primary goal? Here we go and select. I want to build a project I have in mind, migrate from relational database, learn MongoDB, migrate. No, here I have to create my project. How long have you been developing software in MongoDB? Here I can just say more than a year. This. So what programming language are you primarily building on MongoDB with? Let me just say JavaScript because it's the one I'm dealing with. What types of data are you? Okay, here I will just say others. Okay, or maybe I can just select the one catalog, inventory data, custom user profile data. Okay, let me just use only inventory data. And will your application include any of the following hierarchy? Event driven, micro, serverless, functional as a server. Okay, so for now, okay, let me choose mobile. And search engine, yes, sometimes I use microservice, event driven. Okay, let me just make like this. So you can even skip that personalize, because sometimes you don't need it most of the time. So for me I will just go on free because I don't want to pay any. Just then create, deploy, because here I'll be having the cluster 0. This cluster 0 will be the one that I will have. Let me just name it eyebrows, like that. So verify, crosswalk, this one, and this one. Verify, and this one. crosswork. Is there any other crosswork? Just say here. Okay. And now here we have created our CRUD, and they have provided our username, password. You need your database credential for next step. Copy this. So, and now we are good to go, because they have provided our database. They have shown exactly the username that we'll be using exactly, and we have also to create the database. So first of all, let's set our environment that we must have. We will exactly continue with what we had last time, and here we will be having okay, this is the previous one we have dealt with, but for now let me just rename this and make it old. Let me just name this old, and I will create a new index file so that it will, let me just create a new index file that will follow exactly all things that I will be setting. So first of all, what do I need here to do first before I do anything? So I have to install Mongoose. What we call Mongoose is the dependency that we'll be using while dealing with Mongo. So here we do npm install Mongoose. It's not Mongoose, it is Mongoose. Nice. So, and I install it. So this will actually install Mongoose, which will help us exactly to interact with our MongoDB. And then after this, I will come here and create my config file, because I need to configure my database db. I will call the file db.js, and in our db.js we have to exactly import my mongoose. I like to say mongoose, which is it will require mongoose like this, and also we will have exactly to enter Mongo how to enter our URL, and this one we will put our URL on this part. So first of all, let me try to put here let's say DWD, because I need it, and also I need a name. Okay, I just make it like this. So right now I have username. This will be username. Okay, I have named it like this, and I have this password, which is actually not necessary right now. And then I will go ahead and create a database user, and here they will say okay, right, like this. So here I have to connect my the IP address with database user, and here I go to choose connect method, and here I will continue with Atlas. So here it will create my Atlas for this cluster, and here they say quick recommended, add the config, so done. Alright, so after this get connected to string. How to make sure that I get connected to string. So say okay. Yeah, okay. This is the exact thing that I will be needing, because I need this. I will need to install this MongoDB in my installer. Okay, this just say MongoDB. Actually, I have installed Mongoose, and on this I will have exactly to make sure I follow the instruction, because this is the later version, that's like 6.7 or later. So on this part, let me just copy this URL because it's the one mostly I need. I will come here and paste it, URL, and on this part I have to make sure, okay, let me make it like this. So here I have to make sure that I put my DB name. This is DB password. So here I go and put the password TWD, and this will be from Hybros. Okay, nice. So it will be like this. Other things are not really necessary. So right now, okay, here we are good to go. App name is Hybros. Okay, nice. So after this part, we have to create a constant connect DB. This constant connect DB will be async. This async will have exactly try and catch, because sometimes we might face with some error. We do await. This await will have mongoose dot connect, and this one will have mongo URL, and this mongo URL. Inside we have to have just use new URL parser. It will be to true. You must make sure that the URL parser they are turned to be true, and use unit. It is unified topology. Also, we must turn them to true. Okay, so after this, because we have exactly connected our Mongo, we will display exactly this by showing that it's true. Okay, we will try to make sure that we in our console we see that our Mongo is really connected. So MongoDB connected successful. So after this, I will have to do catch to catch any kind of error that we might face. Maybe it might be somehow not connected well. You must also check them well. MongoDB, here we have connection error, and here we will write our error message for connection. So on this part, we have to process the exit of one. Whenever it's executed first, it will exit. It will processing with failure. So, and then after this part, we have to make sure we make module exports, because we will need to export this. It will be called connectdb. So because this is exactly our file we have mentioned right here. Alright, here we are good to go. Here we have made a MongoDB connection, and then let's see exactly how we can exactly make our user model. But before that, before we do a user model, we need to make sure we have created our index file here to check the connectivity of our Mongo. If there is any kind of error, we might figure it out and resolve them all. So we'll first go by constant express. So we will require express. So after this we do constant connect db, and this will require config db, because we need to import our config. And then here we do constant app to make sure that our app is express, and then constant port because we need our port to be accessed to process our environment that we have, and to be taking port. And if port is not right there, it will have 300, because yet we haven't yet created our .env file, so that's why I just put all. So here we'll check our connection db, and this our connection db will be actually testing and see if it's connected well. And use, here we do app use express dot json like this, and here we will do app dot listen, which is port. It will be sent to this port, and also we need to console log the server running on http localhost, and the port will be coming from the port that we have here. So then let's test and see. Npm start, we do npm start, it will show okay, MongoDB warning, a new URL is deprecated, user has no, since Node.js driver version 4 will be removed. Okay, let me go back to my, we can remove this too, make it on like this, and we check again. Nice. So here we have our Mongo connected well, and also our server is running well. So without any further ado, let's just jump into creating our model. We make our things very simple, because here we are only checking how we can exactly connect our DB with our Node Express. So here we will go and create our model. This model will create exactly this model. We define the user structure in the MongoDB, just the name field, that is the thing that we'll be using. Timestamp adds automatic tracking actually when we send the data in database. So right here we will go by creating our models, and these models, it will have user.js, and in this user.js, first of all, because we are dealing with the model that will affect our Mongo, we will go with our mongoose, which will require constant we have user schema. This schema will actually define exactly the schema for our model. And here we have a name, and this name will be the field that we have, and this name we have a type of string. It will be in the calculator, and it will be required, yes. And then after this we will have to make sure that it have a timestamp, because whenever data is created we need to make sure it must show exactly when it was created and track that time. So after this part we will go ahead and make our module exports, and to export mongoose.model, and this mongoose.model to be named user, has been started with capital letter, and it will have user schema, just like this. And then here we are good to go. We have created our schema for the user model that we'll be needing, and this actually it will define the user structure in DB, as we have defined the name, the type, and also if it will be required, if it will be having a timestamp. Here we are good to go. We have done with creating a model. This model is the one that exactly will be used while dealing with the data and also affecting our database. So let's continue with our controller, because we also need controller. This controller will, because we need like some operation, because we need actually to fetch all users, we need to fetch only one user, we need to add new user, we need to modify existing user, we need to remove user. All of this will be done in controller. So we have to create controllers, and these controllers we will have inside the one we call user controller.js, like this. Nice. So what do we have here to do? First of all, we have to make our user, how to require this model, because we'll be dealing most of the time with this model, the changes, the fetch, where the fetch will be getting to be coming from this model. So first of all, we make it like this. We have to get all users. How do we get all users? So let me start by exporting, because we will need to export this to access it in our URLs. We will be get users, and we have to do async, because we are dealing with asynchronous data, and we have a request and also a response. So and then after this we have to make sure here, after request and the response, we do a try and catch. This try and catch, actually it will help us to handle any single error that can happen while operating. So here we will try to get users. Yeah, we will get users, because we have to find them from our model, and also we need to respond this JSON users, we need to respond this as JSON, like the previous session we had. The reason why you have to use this JSON, because we are trying exactly to provide the response in JSON format. Same as here, we have status, which will be 500 JSON, and here we will provide a message, and this message will be message like this. Okay, nice. So after this part, we have actually gathered how we can make our or get our data from our model we have created of user. So, and then the next step, it's gonna be how we can create our user. So on this part, okay, on this part we will have actually make a create user. So here on create user, we have to do the same exports dot create user async request and response. So on this part, I have to constant new user new, because here I'm creating a new user, and here I'm making sure that it's a name, and I will get this from request.body name, just like this. And after this, I will try and catch any kind of error that can happen in between. So here I will just go and constant. Here I will be save the user, because here I will be saving user. Await new user and save like this. And then after this, we have to make sure we provide a response with status. Status will be 201, and this 201 will provide exactly the saved user. Nice. And on try and catch, exactly it will provide the error message. Let me just copy this. We provide error message with 400 like this, because it will show that exactly there was an error. The request, there was an error while creating a user. So this was all about creating user. Let's just check about how to update user. Update user. On this part, I have to do exports dot update user, which will async request and place. On this part, I will do try and catch. Here on try and catch, but before this, because we are updating, yes, how to do try and catch. Yeah, this is the right way. We have to make constant updated user, and this updated user will have await. This await to be from user, and find by ID and update like this. Find by ID and update. What are we gonna be updating here? So we will request a params and ID from our request, and what are we gonna be actually modifying. Okay, here we're gonna be modifying the name. It will have request.body .name, and then we will also just say new, because they are new data that we are actually providing in our database. Alright, so after this we have to state a condition. If is not updated, if user is not updated, we have to return the request of status. This request of status response status, it will be 404, which means user is not found, because sometimes people might actually try to update data of the user who doesn't exist in our system. So user not found, this will be the response. But even though it is like that, we have also, when data is successful, have Johnson, which will show, which will provide data that is updated user, just like this. Alright, so after this part you have to do like the normal way. Response status 404 dot JSON. Here we will have a message error dot message, yeah, like this. So after this part, here we are done with update user export, and we are going to see how to make a delete. Delete is most of, I don't know why I usually say delete is the most thing which is very easy to make, but also most dangerous thing. You must be attentive. So you have to do export dot delete user should be equal to async, and we have request and also response. And on this part I will also use try and catch. I must make sure that there is no nice. So yeah, we just do constant delete user deleted. I'll just do await user dot find by ID and delete, and here I will just use first params dot ID, and after this I will just do if this delete users return request status 404, so Johnson to be message dot user not found. Okay, nice. So we have also response.johnson. This response.johnson, it will provide message user deleted, like this. Nice. So here we have response status on error when it is not processed well, to show that there is some server error with Johnson message. It's just a message, it will show exactly error message. Okay, here we are good to go. We have exactly made our model with all operation that will be required in our API, our endpoint that we have. So what's next? Let's make then our route for the application, and then here to make that route we will come here, we create our the name, so we name it routes, because we need to categorize them very well to make sure that our code are very organized well. And here I will do express require this will be express, and here I will do constant router. This constant router, it will provide express router. It is router like this, and then constant we will exactly import our user controller, which will require our controller, user controller, this one, and it must not go with .js, it must come with only the file name. That is the only thing. And then upon actually importing all the thing that we need, so here we will actually write our router, because we need to make sure that everything is reset very well. So here we need to make this really quick, because it will be a thing that is repetitive. Controller dot like this, so I will make it 4 times, 1 2 3 4 5 time. Okay, so here I will just use get, here get, here I will use post, and here I will use put, here I will be using delete. So on the link, on ID, they will be fetching by ID, here I'll be just doing post, here I'll be only updating, and here I'll be deleting, just like this. And on this part I will just say get users, here I'll just say get. Okay, let me first check what I have on my controller. I have get users, and okay, I have to check again. Okay, I have get users, I didn't create get user, so let me make it a little bit quick. Get user, so this will be user, and find by ID, here we do request dot params dot id, and on this part I will add another condition. If user is not found, it must trigger return status 404 Johnson message user not found, like this. Alright, So here I have provided if user is not found. Here it will be user, not users. Okay, nice. Here we have everything set well for the user to get the user. So we have here also to just get user, and here because we are using post we say create, because here it's coming, and here we say is it update user, and here it will be delete user, and here we are good to go. So at last we have also to do module.exports go to router, because we are exporting routers here, guys. So after this, the only part which is remaining for here is to make sure that here in our here in our index.js we have to actually use our API, because here we just say users and we just require those routers we have created, routes users, like this. So, and here we are on the verge of completing everything that we needed actually to connect our MongoDB, creating well the well connected database with Node.js and Express. And right now we are going to move in our node in our Postman to check if everything is set well. So by this we will go to our Postman. Here we will go to our node, because this is the last time API we used, and here let me clean this. I will do npm start, check if there is nothing wrong. Okay, the DB is connected well, and I will go to the root, because you see here we don't have any. Let me first create the user, because I need to create the user. Here the users, the port, what port do we have? Yeah, localhost, everything is set well. If I do send, alright, so you see guys, here we have name, ID, created at, updated at. These information are coming from our MongoDB. This is how exactly it saved our data when we try to process them. So then let's just get all users, and you see when I just send all users, here is how we get them. Nice. So can we get the user by ID? Yes, of course, it's possible. Let me take this ID and go to my user, and I put my ID here, and then when I send, here the user come. So we have seen the create, the get. So let's see about update. We are trying to update the data, our data. Here, if you remember, I put a person, his name is Samuel, and I want to change Samuel to Grace. So when I put my ID here and I send, as you see right here, it will be changed. And or if I want to delete this user, we come to delete, and again I put my ID of the user I want to delete on this part, and when I send, user get deleted. So this is how so far you can do it. Let me create like another user here, and I show you exactly how it looks like also in our database. So let me go, okay, this is done. Let me go back to my cluster. So here I want to browse correction. Takes a little bit time. Okay, here it's retrieving the list of data that we do not now. Not really, I don't want to deal with this. Set the task. Okay, session embedded. Alright, so project Reva Nabi. Alright, here I have in my this is exactly not the one. So the one that I need is this one, the test, because I have not actually mentioned the name. So whenever you are using cluster, when you didn't mention the database name, it will automatically create this test. So when you are trying to actually see what table you have created, you have to come here to your cluster, and you go to the see the correction, actually where I have clicked on correction, and then after correction you go to the test. You will review your users. You remember you have created this user model, and when I come back and check, I will find my name right here, as you can see on this part. So guys, this is how exactly you can actually integrate well your MongoDB in your Node.js and Express. And so soon enough we actually also see how we can secure our we can secure our API, and also, but first we will deal with the way to integrate our API with the front end part, which is obviously we'll be dealing with the React, and I hope you guys will be around for that wonderful session too. So thank you guys for being around, and I wish you a productive day, cause we're gonna have a real wonderful moment while making something really creative. So thank you guys, see you around.